Oh, hi everyone. I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television.
And I'm Kim Anderson. I'm on the board of MCAT, and I'm the Director of Programs and Grants for Humanities Montana.
Welcome thee to this, is it our 5th or 6th season of Missoula Live?
It might be 6.
It could be the 6th
six.
season of Missoula Live. I hope you all summered really well.
You did.
I did, indeed.
Yeah.
And you? Any
I did.
complaints?
No, none. Except that it's September.
Yeah. Sunrise, sunset.
I know.
I haven't much to report on the MCAT side. We are doing Saturday animation drop-in again. It's every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. And there's a new fee structure, $10 for the 4 hours. And you know you can't get a babysitter for that price.
No.
And in addition, siblings are 15.
Wow.
Scott thought it up.
So you can add another
Yeah,
child
apparently
in for
have to
only
be
5?
siblings under the misapprehension that they're going to get along.
A DNA test?
I don't look so.
Not.
So that's every Saturday, including the Christmas break.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to do it during that downtime when parents and caregivers may really need the break.
Yeah.
In other news, MCAT has a new website. I think you guys are going to talk about a new website.
Everyone's getting a new website.
Right, so there it is, dear viewer, in all its glory.
That's great.
Oh, it's kind of, yeah, it's black and white with a hint
It's just crisper.
of our minty green.
Yeah, it's crisper.
That's right. And on this website, you can, as always, request MCAT to make a recording of your group's programming. So it could be a conference, it could be a keynote speaker, it could be a demonstration, it could be a protest, could be something. If you go to that website, MCAT.org, click on Request a Recording, it will take you to a form. Fill it out.
That's kind of clearer language than you used to have.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it used to be.
A grant of some sort, right?
Well, it still is, for God's sake, but it is more clear language. Request a recording.
That's because that's what people are going to be doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we're still trying to make it official, because when we first initiated this 19 years ago, we were worried that people are going to be like,
When you were a child.
right, I've got something in my basement.
Right.
I want you to come and record. So we asked that a group, at least a group, could
Some
be a little more level-headed.
kind of entity, yes.
Individuals. So that's all my MCAT news. You've got a new website for Humanities Montana.
Yes, all I have to say is that we too have a new website. We just unveiled it this week, and in an effort to celebrate that, we're having a big party here in Missoula
At the barn.
On Friday night. On Thursday night. On Thursday night. Oh my gosh, I'm getting. Oh, there's so many parties this week. Yes, Thursday night, the 12th.
I've heard that lifestyle becomes confusing.
I'm too old for all these parties.
Right.
Anyway, Thursday the 12th from 5:30
Yeah.
to 7:30. Come to the barn and have a glass of wine or a beverage of your choice on us and some yummy hors d'oeuvres. And it's called the Night of the Living Humanities. And it is about meeting some of our Montana Conversation presenters and just having conversations with them. It's going to be a real fun night.
It's kind of like the Davidson Honors College fundraiser that Richard, who's not pictured here, was part of, like where you'd go and there'd be someone with a passionate interest in something, and then a group of people have a conversation with that person.
Right, except
It was
you're not
really
trapped at a
fun.
table.
Oh, unlike.
You can move, you can meet.
Yeah. Oh,
so
that's
much
cool.
better, I think.
Then I will bring my family.
Bring them all. Just bring everyone.
Well,
So
your
that's where it
website
is.
looks
There it
great,
is.
and
There
there's
it
the
is.
Night of the Living Humanities.
Yes.
So.
And there's other big stuff happening this week, but I think we're going to be talking about that next.
Oh, yeah, like, should we plug the book festival right away?
Just do it.
All right, Scott, would you please show the people at home the website for the Montana
Book
Festival. And there it is. There's too much going on to even talk about, but germane to our show, there will be lots of presentations, and there'll be books, right? And authors, and readings, and opportunities to buy limited editions. Now, some of you viewers may know that Kim Anderson here brought that festival to Missoula, for 15 years? Something like that?
Yes, I ran it for 15 years.
And it shows.
And it aged me, yeah.
Right? So thank you, Kim. That was really amazing.
It was a
wonderful.
blast, and it's still fun to be a part of it.
Yeah. And this is, its 18th year or something?
Yes.
So that is going to be all of the 19th year, all of the same weekend as Night of the Living Humanities,
It's all
the
happening
12th.
this week.
And there's so much going on that we could only defer the viewer to the website,
Yes,
right?
just check out the schedule.
Yeah.
And we're going to be promoting at least one of the events right now.
Yeah, we're promoting right now. Let me introduce you to our panelists. Here's Kelly, Kia, and Amy. Welcome. Thank you so much for being on the show. And what we're going to talk about is this anthology of Montana women's writing called We Leave the Flowers Where They Are, pictured here and pictured there on your home screens. It's a beautiful
It's a
cover.
beautiful book.
There must have been some art direction to this picture taken.
I have to say, I've read like about 2/3 of the essays in there, and I have to put it down sometimes when I'm done with it and just pull
Jeez,
myself
you're not the only
together
one
again.
talking about
I
crying
know.
over this book. I just got a copy and I'm getting misty. I haven't even read it. Gosh. Well, who would like to talk about, the overview of how the book came to be and what it's about and so on? Anyone?
Well, I think, Kelly, did you take the memoir class?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I was, lucky enough to get involved with a memoir writing class by our very own Richard Fifield. He's a personal friend and just obviously and a fantastic author. And I was looking to, get involved in some sort of cathartic writing, and I thought that would be a great way. So I wrote, it was a year-long class. We meet once a month, and each participant submits about 3 or 4 stories. And we workshop and read them and give each other feedback and such things. And so that's how I got involved with this book.
And how many years ago was that, Kelly?
That was just last year.
Oh, great.
Right.
And so these classes had been going on for a while, or?
Yeah, word of mouth is how I even found out about it. Many of my good friends took it.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. Richard's been teaching this memoir class at the ZAC for about 3-4 years in different capacities. He's actually taught with us. I'm the director of the ZAC, by the way.
Yes, this is
Kia.
Keola.
That's why she knows.
Yeah.
He has always been, he's had his book release at the ZAC when Richard wrote his first book. He's taught some classes. He and I taught an obituary writing class together. So he's been involved here and there, kind of bringing some literature classes to the ZAC, and he's been doing these memoir classes for several years now, and had a lot of not just women, but a lot of women and some men too, in and out.
And that's how the anthology came to be. True Stories of Montana Women is the subtitle of it.
I think
And-
there's 41.
There's
Women.
41.
It's an
stories
amazing
in this
list.
book.
It's
Wow.
an
And
amazing
it's
list.
so beautiful because I think with Kia here, it's so amazing to think about these women and every story, kind of the transformation that they had because of art and the stories that we all write, and we all connect with each other through story.
So, Amy, you're a contributor to the anthology as well, is that
I am.
correct?
I happen to be on the cover.
It's
I thought you looked familiar.
meow.
And so you were a member of the workshop at some point as well?
I wasn't in the workshop itself. Richard has kind of been a wonderful supporter of mine for a really long time and asked me at the last minute to write a story for the book,
Oh, wow.
as well as be on the cover. So, I mean, I was really thrilled to be in it.
You were just vaulted.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
He made me a star immediately.
Right?
I feel very blessed.
I was born.
Yes.
What's next?
Another thing, people at home should like to know about We Leave the Flowers Where They Are, and it's fresh off the press. I got this for free just for being here. But I did a little research. It's available at Fact and Fiction
Yes,
for
it is.
$17. And the reason I can say that without being capitalist is that all the proceeds from the sale of the book benefit Humanities Montana and Zootown Arts
Exactly.
Community Center. So that buying the book not only would be a pleasure for the reader, but they would be doing the right thing. So there's that.
And I think we should say, you all have mentioned Richard Fifield, an amazing author whose novel, The Flood girls, sisters, girls.
They're girls.
The Flood Girls. I did get it right the first time.
Yeah, you did.
Was a huge, huge success. He has a new book coming out, I believe, in January. And I mean, he's been working with community members for a long time at ZAC, holding these memoir classes and lots of other places. And he refused to be on camera with us today, but I think that the impulse to empower women to tell their stories and then to put some of the most moving of those stories between covers and share them with, the rest of Montana and the world, and in so doing to support 2 local groups is really an amazing thing.
Sure is.
A work of the heart and a work of genius. Both. Now, are you guys going to read? Like your stories? You want to? I would act as camera person to frame you beautifully.
It's very good at that.
Maybe you want to do it first?
Okay.
All right, then I'll go over here and get you just so. And I'll tell you when I'm ready.
This is so awesome. I didn't know I was going to get to be read too.
I know, it's pretty
The rest of
interesting.
us can just
Love being
close
read
our
to,
eyes
yes.
and listen.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
I haven't read this aloud, so you forgive me if I get a little nervous. How Ancestry.com ruined my life, Amy Boyce. Let's start at the beginning. I was born in Billings, Montana on February 20th, 1975. I spent several months in a foster home, and my adoptive family came to get me on April 21st. I was described as a mellow baby, a good first-timer. My birth name was Maggie. There's a lot a name says about you, and I imagine that the name Maggie would have led me to be one hell of a quilter and an office manager in a vinyl siding business. My life as Maggie from Billings was short-lived, however, and I'm eternally grateful to my parents for that. My parents feverishly began working on the nursery when they started the adoption process. They were informed that it could take up to 5 years to actually adopt a baby. The idea of staring across the hall into an empty nursery for 5 years sounded horribly depressing to my mother. She decided to take a woodworking course instead of focusing on the nursery, carving out her desire for a child into some very functional shelving. 6 months later, my parents received a call that they would be parents to a baby girl. They might have had a handcrafted shelving, but they were completely unprepared for a baby that was coming 4.5 years early. My mother put up the wallpaper in the nursery while I slept on the couch. It is interesting what we all do with expectation and hope. We try not to have high expectations, so we don't hang the wallpaper. We don't get disappointed, but are completely unprepared when we get what we want. Investing ourselves into something we so desperately want is frightening and vulnerable, and there is a price to preparation and anticipation. This young couple got onto an airplane, something neither one of them had done very much, and went to pick up their baby girl. I can't even imagine how that will feel. My dad told me that he was not really concerned with the mechanics of taking care of a baby. He had 2 younger sisters. In fact, he could even put a diaper on himself, which landed him at the principal's office. That is a story for another time. The important thing is that they had shelves. My mother, however, was very contemplative of responsibility involved with adopting this baby. She prepared herself to be the mother that my birth mother wanted her to be. My father said that he saw my mother transform on that plane. She looked softer, deliberate. She looked like a mother. And from the moment she held me, she was. 3 photocopied pages. Information for adoptive parents, RE, Maggie, were the only link my parents or myself had regarding my birth mother. According to these documents, my birth mother had been allowed to see, hold, and feed me before she relinquished her parental rights. This was 1975, not 2019, and things were very different. In 1975, there was nothing open about adoption. My birth mother must have been a strong, capable, and grounded woman if the hospital and adoption agency allowed her to hold me. In her own words, my birth mother reported, "She is not my possession to keep because of my own emotional needs." This has always resonated with me because it sounds exactly like something I would feel and say. She placed me for adoption because she loved me and wanted me to have a stable family. She also wanted to finish college, something I've always hoped she accomplished. My heart aches for that young woman. She was never detached from the truth and stable enough to make a decision to give away a child she loved. I will always be grateful for the sacrifice she made in order for me to live the life I do. I am incredibly lucky. My adoption was ideal. My friend Shannon reminds me of this after a lot of glasses of wine. Shannon was also adopted but never had a connection with her adoptive family. I think her family felt like having kids was just something that everyone did, regardless if they wanted to. My family was the opposite. They were supportive, showed me that I was valued and wanted, exactly like you, points out Shannon. I have always felt like I had an advantage over kids who weren't adopted. I have never known what having blood relatives is like. Anyone close to me is family. And this has afforded me deep relationships with people without the normal familial constraints. When I gave birth, this idea of family forever changed. My son was the first person in this world who looked like me. I wasn't able to hold him immediately after giving birth. He was born early and had some complications breathing. I could not wait to see my son's face. The magnitude of holding a child that was my blood was overwhelming. The nurses offered help getting dressed in a wheelchair to take me to the NICU, but I was already halfway out the door. This child, part of me, did he have my eyes, my nose? Did he have my dark skin? Yes, he has my eyes. Yes, he has my nose, poor kid. At that point, he was actually a lovely shade of jaundice, so we were unsure about his skin tone. I have always been curious about my own ethnicity. I was envious of those who could say they were Irish, Italian, or Lebanese. They knew where they came from and could claim a heritage I would never know. In college, I got tired of having a vague idea of who I was and where I came from, so I created my own. I lied about my ethnicity because I didn't know what I was. I didn't want to be left out of the conversation. I held this a secret for a very long time and finally came clean when I was ready to marry my husband. I couldn't marry a person who didn't really know me. It was embarrassing to admit I lied, but the real truth was going to remove the sting. I always wanted to try DNA testing. I received my 23andMe test, but was ambivalent about taking it. The truth could not be better than the story that I had made up. I waited 6 months before I took the test, the same amount of time my parents waited for me. When I received the results, they were pretty vague, and I didn't know much more about myself than when I started. I decided to try Ancestry, a last attempt for a clearer picture of my ethnic identity. I sent my saliva off to their lab and waited an eternity for my results. Although my husband and I took our tests at the same time, he received his results within a month. Finally, I received an email informing me that my results were inconclusive. I would have to take the test again. This happened a second time, and then a third time. A year after I took the initial test, I finally got the results. I didn't find out much more about my ethnicity, but my DNA had matched with someone, a relationship as reported as parent-child. When I read this, my heart zipped right through my chest. I got lightheaded. This person was my father.
Whoa.
Wow.
To be continued.
That's pretty
I just met him,
good.
and it had not been in the book, so.
Oh my gosh.
You mean in real life you had just met him?
Yeah, I just
You met him
this,
since writing
Since writing this. I just met him this summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
So it's a little
right.
right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
Kelly, you want to read yours?
Sure.
All right, I'll be your camera person.
20 pounds lighter, please.
Can dial that up.
Chin, work your magic.
It's very magical.
All right, tell me when you're ready.
I'm doing such a bad job. It's kind of amazing that I'm paid to do this. What? All right, I think you're framed very nicely.
Thank you, good sir. This is Menacing Rack, and I am Kelly Provost, the author. I was walking into the Lion King on London's West End when I found out that I had cancer. We planned our trip to Europe for months. My family and I were going to be gone exactly 30 days and had plans to hit London, Paris, and then Spain. My cousin had a house on the Mediterranean, so he and his family had invited us to spend some time with them in their beautiful villa. I had a to-do list a mile long. Manicure, pedicure, call post office to hold mail, groom Lola, earplugs, buy trashy magazine, earplugs, get mole on upper thigh checked, get armpits waxed, lose 20 pounds, mammogram, earplugs. When I had my first mammogram, I just turned 40. I had not quite made it halfway home from the imaging facility when I was phoned back. They wanted to look closer. I returned to the office, visibly shaken, but oddly interested. I liked attention. I was excited, yet mildly terrified, and honestly, that's how I'd lived my life. The radiologist did his magic, showed me the clear image of a lump, and sent me over to a surgeon. At this point, the thrill was gone. The very real fact that I had 2 little boys was starting to make me perspire, which I hate because it messes with my hair. I met with Dr. J, who was adorable, kind, petite, with warm features. She knew her business. "I don't like the looks of this mass," she said. "It's too far down in the breast to biopsy, so I'm going to have to take it out. This suspicious lump's eviction leads to a lumpectomy." I recall having that plummeting boulder hit my stomach. Who else do I tell? I told my husband, my sister, and my mom right away. I needed support. I was going to go under general anesthesia for this procedure, which excited me. As a recovering drug addict, I'd take what I can get. An added perk was that the darn lump was located near the chest wall, so in order to locate it precisely, they were going to have to stick a needle through my breast. They offered me Valium for this portion of the fun, which I foolishly turned down. Cute little Dr. J sliced into my right breast, located the mass, took it out, and sent it to a lab who the hell knows where. Relief came when she called me on a Saturday morning to tell me that it was benign. I'm going to fill you in on a little secret. My boob has been trying to kill me for years. In the 7th grade, I was starting to look less like Opie from the Andy Griffith Show and more like Molly Ringwald. I got my braces off. The only thing missing was something to fill the bra that I was wearing purely for a hidden decoration. I got my wish seemingly overnight as I grew from an A to a D cup, which left deep purple stretch marks. I started high school stacked. I never felt comfortable at how large they were for my little frame. This began the years of thick bra straps. They left me with huge, deep grooves at the top of my shoulders. I hid my bra from my dates and even my girlfriends. I always had 5 hooks. I dreamed of a tiny, cute cotton bra with flowers on it, maybe a front closure, or even just 2 hooks. There were no trips to Victoria's Secret. There were no sassy, colorful straps. I was forced to wear a bikini because I needed extra, extra large on the top, even though I wore an extra small on the bottom. Many people piped up when I'd lament, "Ooh, I'd take some. Ooh, I'd kill for your chest." They had no idea that when I unfurled those bad boys that they would graze my navel. I looked at least 20 pounds heavier in clothes because of my ample chest. I'm very aware of how vain all this sounds, and it is. I was 5'5", I weighed 105 pounds, but 10 of those was fat, flabby breast tissue. It's a wonder that I never tipped over. During and after pregnancy, my breasts were a sheer horror. They swelled to a size K, and you can't buy that in stores. In Dillard's, I tried on bras, and I would weep in the dressing room. "Can I help you, ma'am?" the nice lady with the normal-sized breast queried. "No," I sobbed in return. "You could have fit a bowling ball in my bra cup." I was hormonal and deeply concerned that my tits were going to be bigger than my baby. Eventually, that fetus finally grew and protruded past my engorged breasts. I was so relieved when people noticed my baby bump rather than my lady lumps. I hounded my insurance company for a breast reduction. They required me to do 9 months of physical therapy instead. I jumped through all the hoops, but they still kept turning me down. I even started running. And let me tell you something, running with a large chest is not only uncomfortable, it's dangerous and painful. I bled a lot. My skin was raw under my breasts, at my shoulders where the straps laid, and under my armpits. It stung when I'd get in the shower. In 2015, I ran the whole 26.2 miles of the Missoula Marathon. I had done a half marathon the summer before and lived to tell about it, so I genuinely wanted to push myself and my hefty chesty to the finish line. On our 18-mile training run, I was absolutely battered, walking and beaten. I could see my friend's husband sweetly waving me in, almost there. A bee flew down my shirt, and I ripped it off so violently and quickly that I pulled a muscle in my neck. "You're bleeding," someone announced. I hadn't even noticed the man fiddling with his sprinkler right near my traumatic battle with the bee. He pointed to my upper midsection. Blood trickled down my chest. I had ran so far in the heat that my scabbed raw skin was bleeding. I went straight to my doctor's office and had him take pictures of everything. The stooped shoulders, the bloodied armpits, the carnage of my torso and underboobs. It looked particularly infected that day, which was perfect. For the first time in a long time, I felt hope. My husband's insurance company had just paid for his coworker's second full knee replacement. But those bastards denied me again. Even my doctor couldn't believe it. This wasn't about looking cute in a bathing suit. This wasn't about spaghetti-strapped tank tops. This wasn't about strapless prom dresses or never being able to wear a button-down shirt. This was about the health of a 42-year-old woman who desperately wanted to run a marathon, realizing that her menacing rack was making that damn near impossible. They say God has a funny way of doing things, and I suppose that's true. I finally surrendered. 3 days later, I got a letter from my insurance company. My case had been reviewed by a third party, and the denial had been overturned. Surgery went great. I was swollen for a few weeks with drain tubes snaking out of me and a lot of ace bandages. But I knew instantly that it was a vast improvement, a million times smaller, a million times more likely that I could finally wear a cute little two-hooked bra. So our flight from London left on July 2nd. 5 days before we flew out, I walked into advanced imaging and had my routine mammogram. I've never had a normal one, so the 2 years prior both were imaged further because of suspicious scar tissue, but never raised a brow. I was not afraid or concerned or worried in the least. I even had my 2 little boys and my mom with me. I had my precious bandeau bikini top on underneath my clothes since we'd planned a trip to Splash, Montana after this quick ultrasound. Due to my experience with abnormal mammograms, I didn't bat an eye when he said that I'd need to return Monday to get a biopsy for a suspicious mass on my right breast. I'm flying out of the country for a month on Sunday, so I'll have to do it when I get back in August, I replied. The doctor cast a slow look at his assisting tech. Canceled the rest of my day. There was a cosmic shift in the atmosphere. I asked him how long it would take because I had my family in the waiting room. He suggested they go on without me. My mom doesn't drive with my kids, so I had to call my sister. She didn't like the tone in my voice, but the doctor's tone was no better when he returned. When are you coming home from Europe? You might have to either stay behind and join your family later or come home for early treatment, he murmured. He couldn't tell me anything definitive, but nurses suddenly appeared from nowhere and ushered me into a hidden waiting area. I'd never seen such fluffy couches, cozy lighting, cookies, and soda. What the actual hell? They told me that they were sending the samples of my unidentified yet increasingly ominous mass to the lab for biopsy. I slid a small ice pack into my bikini top to replace the sample they'd taken. I went to the water park anyway, stunned. That night, my dear husband came up with the plan for the worst-case scenario. I would go and enjoy as much of our vacation as possible. If I needed to come home imminently for cancer treatment, I could fly out of either Madrid or Paris. I gave my family the luxury of not freaking out, but certainly a part of me did exactly that. I let myself surrender the uncertainty and helplessness. I continued to be open with the people that I was closest to and took to heart their sincere well wishes. I resisted the urge to be resentful at their reactions. I'm sure it's nothing. We flew out July 2nd. My dear friend Anna shuttled our circus to the airport. We were excited and prepared as we could be, the boys oblivious to my personal plight, the cursed tits. At our first layover in Minneapolis, I fought the very real and serious urge to buy a pair of bedazzled Balenciaga sunglasses for $500. I'm probably dying of cancer. Let me feel pretty entitled. After a long flight, we arrived in London. Jet-lagged, but still jazzed from the excitement, we set off to enjoy our first night on the uncertain vacation. We wouldn't find anything out for a few days because of the 4th of July holiday. I found myself able to find a rickety balance, somewhere between relaxed and highly anxious. London was bloody awesome. We took the tube everywhere, minding the gap, visiting the Queen at both her office and the cottage. I had all the fun, ate all the food, and enjoyed each day as if it were my last, while forcing myself to believe that it really wouldn't be. I ordered tiramisu at every place we dined. On July 5th, we're supposed to find out the official news. We keep busy with the full day at the Wax Museum and head back to our flat to freshen up before the performance of The Lion King. As we primp ourselves, I notice the time. It's 4 o'clock, and I watch as 5 ticks by. We silently sweat bullets, waiting for my phone to ring. It doesn't. I'm anxious, and I call them instead of waiting. The sweet receptionist is painfully aware of the news that I am waiting for and promises that she'll call me the second the results come in. Running late, we eat at McDonald's instead of a fabulous restaurant. After shoveling a subpar quarter-pounder down the hatch, we rush to the subway, only to become instantly lost when we exit. All of us adults are stressed, but try to check ourselves for the sake of our little boys, who definitely don't know the gravity of Mommy's news. They just want something sweet and a souvenir. Finally, we ask someone where the theater is. We're just around the corner. As we hurry, the phone rings. We're silent, despite the insane amount of noise on the street. I keep one hand clutching my son while the other puts the phone to my ear. Dr. Frederick Ty, my general practitioner, breaks the news. You have breast cancer. I'm sure he was weirded out by my chipper and downright cheerful response. Thank you. I suspected so. Listen, we're headed into the theater now, so thanks again. Hell, I thought. At least I can sob in the goddamn dark for a few hours. As the first act ended and the lights went up, I sent for everyone to go potty and get treats. I knew the nurse navigator had the real information that I sought. what is the actual diagnosis? How serious and dire was my current situation? And while I listened to the message she'd left and memorized the number she'd told me to call, I realized that making it to Spain was my top priority. I was truly grateful at that moment that it was me who had cancer and not someone that I love. I sat outside that majestic theater in the heart of London, among the chaos of 5 languages being spoken. I called home to Missoula to speak with her. I hoped to get some good news, and thankfully I did. It's the best kind of breast cancer. It's slow moving, and you wouldn't do any good rushing home. Enjoy your family vacation. I'll set up appointments for your return. I returned to my family with the good news, beaming from ear to ear. Carrie and Scott had tears in their eyes. We could breathe. We could relax. We finished the evening with a celebratory dessert at the fanciest restaurant we could find. Never before had I looked forward to living so much. What I would find out in the next few days was that I had been diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma. They had assessed the tumor to be just over 1 centimeter. We finished off London with a sushi dinner in the London Eye. We used our passports a second time when we boarded the Channel for Paris. My husband and I were certain that we would be seeing marine life while we were submerged in the tunnel, but seamlessly arrived to our apartment for the week. On the other side of the steel door was a huge courtyard, the lawn and shrubbery beautifully manicured, an oasis hidden in the very heart of Paris. Back to reality, I was able to really see my kids' faces, join in their experience, and finally participate. I was living in full color with surround sound. We had a much more relaxed schedule for this leg of the trip and leisurely found a restaurant where there was not a lick of French spoken. With our limited French, and I'm being kind here, I know how to say eat feces and thank you. We ordered dinner, excited and anxious to see what we were actually served. We had steak tartare, tuna tartare, quinoa mint salad. The boys ate bread and French fries. During the next several days, we hit the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and Notre Dame. My sister kneeled at every altar, lit every candle, and prayed unabashedly for my health. With my senses heightened and my spirit awakened, we continued to explore and fell deeper in love with the city. Having the stress lifted from my shoulders, I began to truly sink into our vacation just as we headed to our third destination. In Spain, I truly unwound. My cousin's villa was beautiful, and that was an understatement. Casa de Erica was named for Urs Keller's mother, Erica, who had passed away in 2005 from cancer, ironically. Urs's legacy was an amazing home tucked away on a hillside in the vacation community of Moreira. In the wake of my recent shift to perception on life, this was the perfect place to truly unwind. In the 3 weeks that we stayed in Spain, I never wore a bra, and I went topless on every beach.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Thank you both for those stories. Amazing. So great. And there are like 39 more, right? So one thing we want to get to is that there's quite a few events that are going to be celebrating the publication of this book.
Yes. So this Friday, the 13th, is the big kickoff, and that is going to be at 121 West Main, I believe is the
At the
address.
downtown dance, or is
Yes.
that the downtown dance collective?
And the loft
loft
upstairs.
upstairs.
It's going to be a multi-story gala
Wow.
event. Yes.
And it's going to be hosted by our very own Rosie Ayers, who is amazing and fun
Yes,
to
she
everything
is.
that she does. And there will be some authors reading, is that correct? And you can come and enjoy.
And don't forget the website, www.montanastories.com, to buy the book if you don't go to get it at Fact and Fiction. So
And will there be copies available at the Friday night reading, and then there's another panel or reading and discussion on Saturday at the Downtown Dance Collective, and I think the book will be
Yes.
available there as well.
Yes,
right?
ma'am. And we're actually, promoting it all over the state.
Yeah.
The tour, if you will, starts in Butte, and all of the events are going to be held at the public libraries in town, and books will be available there as well, and with selected authors reading their stories at different places.
So you're taking the show on the road.
You know it.
Excellent.
Ending in LA.
And then just
That's a lie.
to remind people, all of the proceeds will benefit Humanities Montana and the ZAC. And Key, would you like to say just a little, about the exciting transformation of the ZAC to the Studebaker building?
Yeah, I just want to say I wasn't going to bring this up, but we are building a new website.
Yeah.
Oh, no, come on.
Just like you guys.
Right?
You're not the only ones. No, yeah, we are in the middle of a giant fundraising
Yeah.
process. It's a $3.5 million capital campaign to build a new ZAC that's 3 times the size actually as the old one downtown. And actually in our current building, we've never owned the building. So this is really exciting for us that we get to have a building that's all ours. And by ours, I mean everyone's, because as a local nonprofit, the owners of the ZAC are all of you, everyone who lives here in Missoula. So it's really exciting for all of Missoula. And our new space, too, we'll have an event center where next year perhaps the Festival of the Book can have more readings. We'll have it's 175 seat theater capacity for readings and music and plays and whatnot. Along with that, we also have classroom space for all of our many different classes. We'll have studio space for artists, multiple galleries, an art lounge, a paint your own pottery studio, a public print shop. Just really, it's going to be a really dynamic space for Missoula. So we're excited, but we're also just plugging away at trying to finish the project.
Right.
And we have not finished our fundraising. And so really, people who buy this book and help support this cause, and really what a wonderful way to help support it, because really it's also supporting sort of everything that the ZAC stands for, which is the transformative power of art and bringing art to all people, and really sharing the voices of all people, that art isn't just for artists, but that every single one of us needs to have the power of art and to awaken those voices. So I believe for the rest of this month, it's actually, so $1 from each book goes to the ZAC, and $1 goes to Humanities Montana. And then for this month, the dollar to the ZAC will be matched. We're working on still trying to reach a big matching grant that we got from the Murdoch Foundation of $200,000. So we're plugging away at that. When we reach $200,000, we unlock that $200,000, and then we can basically finish our project.
It's a huge goal.
Yeah, and in that process, we'll be also making a new website.
There you go.
Little thing.
We better go too, because
I know.
Duchesne Barnett is outside. He's the executive director of Missoula Urban Indian Health Center. He's been waiting very patiently. But thank you so much,
Yeah,
you
real
guys.
fast, the
That was
website
beautiful, the reading.
www.mtstories.com.
And-
It's all lowercase.
And come
Okay.
celebrate Friday night, Downtown Dance
Yeah.
Collective, upstairs at the Loft, 5:30 to 7:30. No, 7:30 to 9.
6:30 to
4:30 to 7 to 9:30.
7 to 9:30.
7 to 9:30. There
Okay
we go.
then. We will be right back after this.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being on Ancient Wolf? You ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Sam, Elmo.
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
simply asking them, like, how are you feeling? Just say, hey, how are you today? And are you doing all right? Just those little things can help somebody.
Ask them how to listen. For instance, when I'm talking to somebody I love, I ask them, what makes you feel heard?
I had a girlfriend when I was in high school who struggled with an eating disorder, and I knew it because I could see it. And I didn't really know what to say, but I just spent time with her. 10 years later, she told me that that was like what she needed at the time, and she was glad that I was just there. And I
Yeah,
spent
you
time
had
with her.
four. I think we're back. Well, anyway, we're here with Megan Bailey, and she is a clinical therapist with what's called Sunburst Organization. And DeJane Barnett is here as Executive Director of Missoula Urban Indian Health Center. Welcome, and thanks for waiting through the reading of the book, We Leave the Flowers Where They Are. Well, so DeJane, you're relatively new to the Missoula Urban Indian Health Center.
Yeah, so I took over as executive director just over a year ago.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I've actually been working in Indian health for 24 years.
Whoa.
I'm from Missoula originally, have been gone for many years, and then had the opportunity to move back. So, yeah.
Welcome home.
Yeah.
And Megan, your work is in conjunction with the Missoula Urban Indian Health Center?
To some extent, I'm with Sunburst Community
Yeah.
Foundation, and so here in Missoula we have outpatient mental health and addictions, and we recently started sharing space with the Missoula Urban Indian Health Center.
Where are you guys located?
You'll be better at answering that than
Okay.
So for our shared space, we're at 1511 South Russell, so that's across the street from the Halloween store.
Oh yeah, I know the Halloween store.
And then Shane's clinic location.
Yeah, so we're at 830 West Central. So we're kind of behind Holiday Village, CVS.
And the women's club is
Exactly,
right there,
they're
right?
2 buildings away from us.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you guys offer? You know, like mission and all that stuff.
Shane has so much more than I do.
All right. Well, you could go first if you
So
want.
I'm a mental health center and a state-approved substance use disorder treatment center, and so we have mental health services, substance use disorder treatment services, case management, intensive outpatient groups, and psychiatric medication management, along with case management. And so some of that DeShane offers, and then he offers a lot more than I currently do.
Right.
So for the Missoula Urban Indian Health Center has actually been in existence. Next year is our 50th anniversary.
Whoa.
So we're going to really play that up in the community to let folks know that, yes, we've been here for 50 years. For the first 48 and a half, almost 49 of those, really what we provided was largely behavioral health services, which is both mental health and then chemical dependency substance abuse services. Last fall, in September of 2018, we began offering primary care medical services.
Oh, wow.
And we are now moving toward a comprehensive health delivery system. So we're hoping to get our dental services up and going next month in October. So in that case, we would then have primary medical care, dental care, and behavioral health care. And then we also have a very active community health program, because we know that healthcare does not happen within the 4 walls of an exam room. So they do a lot of health promotion, disease prevention kind of things, healthy eating, active lifestyles, that kind of stuff. So
You recently had a fundraiser, right? That was like a walk run.
yeah, so we had our first annual 5K fun run and walk, and we had, for our first year, a great turnout. We had 102 registered runners.
Wow.
And then obviously some also brought families, kids, dogs. My dog and I did the 5K.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so no, it's great, and we'll be doing this every year, and the idea is absolutely, yes, to promote healthy, active lifestyles within the community.
Yeah. And are there a lot of people that take advantage of the health center? Do they have to be tribally enrolled and so on to do so?
So we began mostly funded by the Indian Health Service, and in order to receive services funded by the Indian Health Service, yes, you do have to be a qualified Indian beneficiary. However, as we expand our medical, dental, and other services, and we're beginning to get funding from places like CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, if you are on Medicare and qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, then you can choose to receive your services at us. You don't have to, but we are absolutely an option that's available for anybody who has Medicaid or
That's
Medicare.
interesting. And Megan, what about the Sunburst Community Foundation? Who do you serve?
So we serve anyone that walks in the door, and so predominantly a lot of folks with Medicaid, but we can take any insurance. And so one of the exciting things about working with Duchesne is we can kind of really focus on whole health and what Duchesne can do internally. So I can refer folks over to him to see his nurse practitioner, for instance, if they have some primary care needs. And then because I share space with his outreach group, we can really offer a good continuum of care. So our community drop-in center shares space with Duchesne's outreach group and United States of Hope, which is a veterans outreach organization.
Yeah, I'm a member on Facebook. I mean, I follow it on the Facebook. And the former MCAP producer, David Prouder, he's involved and he just loves it. Just loves it.
Yeah, and that's actually what facilitated our shared space, is that we actually got a large grant from SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, to do suicide and substance abuse prevention work for Native American youth ages 15 to 24. Because we know Native youth in Montana specifically have some of the highest rates of suicide in the United States. Some years it's actually the highest, but we're usually one of the highest.
Everyone knows it's a big problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, was it the Arlie Warriors did that PSA series
that was
recently?
so effective, a piece like that. You know?
Yeah, and that's, you know, the approach that we take is we know that within our community, within our culture, we have the strengths that we need to combat this epidemic. We're just not going to necessarily get that going to, you know, a regular outpatient program. So we're developing programs for our youth that are grounded in their culture, their traditions, their language, their heritage, and what we see is that those tend to be more effective.
Duchesne, you said you had some events coming up that you wanted to...
Oh yeah, you have a cheat sheet for it.
Yeah, sorry, I had to do a cheat sheet because we have a lot. Obviously, I won't say everything, but a couple things. So September is suicide. It's either Awareness Month or Prevention Month.
Yeah, it could be like both.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's just say awareness and prevention.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, Tuesday, September 10th, 7 p.m. at the Roxy. Everyone is welcome to come out. We're going to do a screening of a film called Dancing Toward the Light, which again talks about Native communities' work to address suicide within their community, culturally grounded and based. And then this Saturday, we will have a contingency at the Out of the Darkness Walk, which is at Silver Park on Saturday, September 14th. And then coming up next month, October 12th, is our Fall Wellness Clinic. And so for more information, people can visit our website. That's really the best way. We have so much going on.
Yeah.
And Scott's been showing it while we've been talking to people at home.
Yes. Yeah, so if you just go to www.muihc.org, I know I said that quickly, muihc.org, and go to our events calendar, you can find information on all of these.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, we put Night of the Living Humanities.
Take mine off.
Okay, that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so if you go to our events calendar, you can find information, much more information than what I can give in a few minutes.
Sure.
I know, and we got to go pretty soon because Megan's out to talk about Pet Fest.
I'd like to just say one more thing.
Please do.
One of the best things about Duchesne and I working together, since I'm a mental health provider, is we're committed to making sure that anyone in our community who's in need can get expedited in for mental health and addiction services. And so on the off chance that I can't get someone in or Duchesne can't get someone in within 72 hours, we're going to cross-refer to each other to make sure that everyone can be seen immediately.
That's great.
This is the beautiful thing about partnerships like this. I mean, you can more than double your effectiveness and your reach.
When it would be hubris to think that we could do everything within the walls of our organization.
Right.
That's why we need partners like Megan.
This is great. Glad to see you're together.
And I know on your cheat sheet you had something about October 19th.
So in the space that I share with Missoula Urban Indian Health Center and United States of Hope, on October 19th, they're kind of having an outreach event starting, I think, about 5 p.m. And they're also going to be working with Herd to Humans, which is an equine therapy group in the area.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
We're
that.
kind of inviting everybody to just come out and learn about our programs and meet people. And
Well, maybe closer to the event, you can
Yeah, you
on
wanna
and
come
just talk
back?
specifically about that. Bring some of the other partners.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sure your outreach team has gobs of things going on.
Yeah, because we do the show every other Monday.
Yeah.
So you can
So yeah,
certainly
closer
come
to
back.
the event. Let's talk about it.
All right. We better go and get Megan on. She'll be mad. So we're going to talk about Pet Fest right after this.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Oh, we're back. Megan Pfaff is here to talk about Pet Fest coming up this Saturday, September the 14th.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you know it. You've got some love on your T-shirt. Spay, neuter, adopt.
Yeah, she's a
Pet
walking
Fest.
advertisement.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are. So what about this iteration of Pet Fest in 2019?
So this is our 14th year,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. And we have tons of shelters and rescues, like always. We're the largest one-day adoption in Western Montana. We have about a 95% adoption rate of the animals that come to the event.
It works.
Yes, and then it's a free event at the fairgrounds, but we ask people to bring a donation of pet food, whether that be cat, dog, horse, rabbit, whatever, and the shelters that participate in the event get to leave the day with it all.
Oh, that's
really
great.
great,
Yeah.
too.
Because my cat's taste, it changes every week, so then I'm left with the other cans of the
Oh,
food
so you could bring
she's decided
something.
she hates now.
Yeah.
There you go. So you could
She
drop
loved it last
yeah,
week.
It could be a large bag or one can, like whatever people can afford, as long as it's not been opened.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
sure.
But yeah, so they.
What time of day is it, Megan?
10 to 3.
Okay.
10 to 3 at the
Really
fairgrounds.
reasonable.
Yeah.
You don't
and,
get up early. You don't
have
got to
to
stay up
early,
late.
You don't have to stay up late. We're not in the hottest part of the day.
Right.
Although it's like
It's gonna be
74.
cool then. It's gonna be a
so we're starting to
beautiful day,
fall.
I
It's gonna
think.
be beautiful.
I
I think
know.
it's sunny and
Tons of adorable animals.
yes, tons. So we have, let's see, I wrote them all down so I wouldn't forget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelters / rescues there.
Wow.
This year. We even have a horse rescue that's coming with horses and goats.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could keep goats. Just so people watching out in TV land, no, you need to have a quarter of an acre. No, you need to have a half acre to have hoofed animals within city limits. So that's somewhat limiting. If you, like me, love goats. Yeah, I learned the hard way. That is true.
You tried to have some goats in your backyard.
Pygmy goats. I was like, there's plenty of room.
Oh, they're tiny.
That was years ago. Well,
now you know better.
That's wonderful to benefit all of these shelters. I mean, I think of the Humane Society of Western Montana, Animals, but there's even, like you're
So
saying.
we have Positive Perseverance, which is a new shelter for us. They rescue like pit bulls and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We have a German Shepherd rescue coming, the Wings program, which is the horses and goats, the Great Pyrenees rescue, and then we have like All Hearts Rescue, which is not in Missoula. Thompson River Animal Care, they're Upson Thompson.
Right.
Animals.
Oh, yeah,
So we have animal shelters from all over coming to this event. So if people have been looking for a pet, they can bring their animals with them. They have to be leashed or whatever contained,
Right.
and be up to date on their vaccines
Sure.
and all of that kind of stuff. But we've had people bring bunnies and lizards and all sorts of awesome. But you can bring the whole family and see if the animal's the right fit for you.
Yeah.
And then we have contests during the day. So we have like best dressed, the peanut butter lick. The
Yes, that's
wacky
famous.
Wiener dog races.
The wacky wiener dog races.
Yes, and we have awesome prizes for the winners. And then this year we have axe throwing. Not at animals, but you know.
Just as a way of letting off steam.
You don't have to come with an animal. Like maybe
Right.
you don't have a pet, but you love them and you want to check it out. There's other activities. We have face painting. We have ice cream and food trucks.
Oh, there's going to be food trucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it in the new commercial building?
So it's not. It's outside.
Okay.
So you take the South Avenue entrance to the parking lot and go all the way down, and then we're right in through the gates.
Oh, you probably
Yeah.
can't miss it.
Yeah. No, you can't.
Doggy Olympics.
Doggy
That's really
Olympics.
cute
That's
You get a
too.
medal.
Oh my gosh, this is pet tricks.
Yes.
Agility contests. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. What a great thing to do with your kids. I mean,
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah.
It's just such
Go
a
to
fun
the
community
fairgrounds
event.
on Saturday. This is
10
awesome.
10 to 3.
10 to 3.
And then the Doggy Olympics are 11 to 2. That's really cute.
And we should mention your sponsors.
Yes.
Yeah, Trail
103.3 is our media sponsor, and they have been a sponsor of this event since
time.
day one.
Wow.
So, I mean, we really appreciate them.
That's great.
Yeah, and then
And
Marketplace Media and Events is the company, our
Yeah,
company that puts it
right.
on.
And Scott's got the website up there. So I
Yeah,
think
he
he's
was
been
showing it- he's
all
showing
the
it now.
information.
Well, Jeepers, I guess we better go.
Yeah, I
mean,
hope you have a
thank
great
you.
Saturday.
Yeah.
It looks-
Yeah, come to it.
Yeah,
That's
and thanks for putting
wonderful.
on another great event. You are always doing something awesome.
Yeah, that's really true.
And I'll see you in a couple weeks for my next event.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's right. She's coming in October.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, dear viewer, for taking in this premiere episode of what appears to be the 6th season of Missoula Live. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with a new lineup of guests.
It's lovely to be here with you again.
Thank you, Kim, for being my co-host. So for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
We'll see you next time.